All right, welcome back to D3 Glory Days, another episode for you. We're joined now by the Augustana Interregional champion, Isaac vanWestrienen from Cornell College. Isaac, thanks for joining us tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me again.
Yeah, good to have you back, I should say. Thanks for that catch. It's been a bit since we caught up to you. Noah and Christian were able to catch up with you after the race, but we're a little bit later in talking to you than we normally do after some big wins. So it's been about a week now. How are you feeling getting ready for conference with knowing that you just won the Augustana Interregional?
Yeah, that was a big confidence booster. I mean, that's essentially the nationals field with the exception of a handful of people who are either at Con College or not racing, but that was a lot of All-Americans that I beat, so I'm very pleased with that performance.
I saw you right after the race, or a little bit after the race, actually, and you were like, "Is that enough to get back on the podcast or something like
Yeah.
that?" Have you been feeling slighted by D3 Glory Days, or like where did that come from?
That was just like over the summer we were talking and you said I had to win something to get back on the podcast.
Noah's just out here promising podcast episodes to people now.
No, I love it. I mean, you messaged me like before the season started that, you weren't planning on losing any races this year, and I think you've lost to one D3 athlete so far this year, but you're mostly holding true to your promise. It seems like you're probably about in the position that you really were hoping all along right now. Is that true?
Yeah, it just took a little bit. I had a little more rust than I was expecting with that first race at Wartburg. So I think I needed to get that under my belt to kind of get back into the swing of racing. And then obviously Augustana was almost exactly how I drew it up.
Yeah, take us through the race. I mean, Noah and I were there in person. We didn't do the whole cross-country fan and run across to the deep end to see where you're at. We kind of just stayed and watched back and forth.
At our age, you just kind of you find a spot and you just stay there.
And we just walk back and forth. But it looked like you were with the pack, and then you and Grant broke away at the last checkpoint. And it's fun because we're at the finish line, and you kind of wait for the turn. You can hear the announcer be like, "All right, here they come." And all of a sudden, it's you who turns. And I think the whole finish line was like, whoa, like they weren't necessarily expecting it. And like you can see Grant in the background, and you thought maybe he could catch you, but you held on. Kind of take us through that last checkpoint. I think it was like a 5.6K, basically the last 2K where we didn't see you until you made that final turn. Like what was the game plan?
Yeah, so I kind of made the first move there right after the 4K checkpoint because my coach and I kind of decided I raced too conservatively at Wartburg. I was kind of waiting till a certain point to make a move, so we decided that I was going to make a move when I felt like it, and I felt like around 4,500 was the time to go because that's when people kind of start. If you got out a little hot, that's when you're going to start to slow down, start to feel it a little bit. So I kind of squeezed there, dropped everyone but Grant, and then he actually had 30 or 40 meters on me with about 800 to go, and my coach actually didn't know that I won until like an hour and a half after the race. Like I was talking to him right after we got out of the finishing chute, and he was like, "Hey, good race!" Like that was, I mean, that was a good day. And then like I finished my cool down, and he came back and was like, "No way, you actually won!" But
We got to get this guy
yeah,
on the live results. Like,
yeah, um, but I was kind of I kind of knew I've raced Grant a lot and he's a really, really strong runner, but I think his weakness that I found in track season is that he doesn't have a great kick. So I knew if it came down to it that I was going to be able to outkick him. So I was kind of just waiting until about 600 or 800 to go, and that's really when I started to close it down on him. And then coming down that finishing chute was a pretty fun feeling because that's a 23 23:17 and a sub 29 guy that I just beat.
are you worried that you may have like kind of shown your cards? I mean, you're basically saying like your kick is your best asset. That's the best way to counter these guys. Do you think now they're going to have to like counter game plan against your kick?
I don't think so. I think I'm strong enough now. I mean, I was doing 100-mile weeks in double thresh for about 3 months there. I think I'm strong enough to hang with anybody, and it's not like my PRs are slow. I mean, I ran 29:15 in the 10K, and um, yeah, I'm confident in whatever comes my way. I'm not gonna share my game plan for nationals,
Come
obviously,
on,
but
man.
I've been
That's the whole reason we're here. Come on, Jake.
Yeah, kind of taking a step back, I want to hear, you said it was a confidence booster. You've been building this mileage up over the summer. Last time we talked to you was right before Virginia Beach. You probably didn't have the day you wanted to, in the high teens. Then you go and finish 272nd, which I'm sure another race you didn't really like. Last cross country season. Then you kind of get this bounce back. You get your first All American indoors in the 5K. And it looked like after that, you got double All American outdoors. Was that the launch pad for you? Kind of like, all right, you had some bad national races. You finally get that All American. Like, did you feel like that was the turning point for you in your career?
I don't think that was necessarily a turning point. There were a lot of extenuating circumstances that affected my races in Virginia Beach. I was riding on a grade 4 stress fracture,
Oh,
and that
jeez.
I didn't know about. It was a couple weeks away from being a full break, and then I was sicker than I've ever been in my entire life, and which was very, very disappointing at Terre Haute last year. But I think I always knew I had it in me, and it was just a matter of putting it together on that day. And I was finally able to do that. And then it was a little bit of a weight off my back, but I always knew I had it in me.
I think you're kind of an exciting athlete to watch because, obviously without knowing everything that was going on behind the scenes, I feel like every national meet we show up to, it's like, okay, this guy could win or he could be 15th. And there's almost like no middle ground. Do you feel like this season you've kind of, narrowed the margins on your performance to where you can expect a solid day anytime you line up healthy?
Definitely, yeah. I've even just in my training, I've really eliminated the broad range of things, and it's been just a lot more showing up and getting the work done on that day.
Yeah, you were in Colorado this summer, double threshold 100-mile weeks. How long did it take you kind of build up to that post stress fracture and have the confidence on that your body would hold up doing that type of work?
So 2 summers ago was the coming off the stress fracture, and that took really the whole summer to get back to 80 or 90 miles, which is generally what my mileage has been. So that was kind of the cause for some of those struggles in the middle of the year last fall, where I wasn't really. I had a great performance to open up at Terra at John McNichol's, and then kind of a little mid-season lull just because I wasn't fully back into the swing of things. This summer, obviously came in healthy off the All Americans, and then it took me I want to say about 3 or 4 weeks to get up to 90. And then I think I had my first 100-mile week in mid-July.
We've talked about it on the podcast before, more and more, you're seeing Division III athletes doing stuff like altitude training over the summer or taking advantage of school breaks to change their training locations. Why has it been important for you to show up in a place like Boulder over the summer and kind of make that your home base for the off-season work?
Yeah, for me, Boulder's actually going down from what I'm used to. If you check out my Strava over Christmas break or something like that, I'm going to be in Conifer at 8,000 feet. But my body just can't handle that long term. It's just too strenuous. And I'm running, I don't know, 1,500 feet of elevation gain every day. It's exclusively pavement. So I've figured out that for these long blocks, I need to have access to the dirt. I need to be at a little bit lower elevation and have some flatter runs. But then I mean, just being able to put in that work at altitude, get those benefits really, I think sets you up for success through a lot of the season. It's usually wears off around now, so I'm not feeling it to the same extent anymore, but it's definitely a big confidence booster at the beginning of the season to come back and see, oh, my heart rate's in the 110s for this easy run and I'm going at like 7:0 pace or whatever it might be.
This should have been asked a little earlier, but let's talk about the celebration. What's up with the
Yeah,
tongue
yeah.
out? Can you take us through that?
So when we're breaking it down as a team, we always do our breakdowns Rams Hell Yes, and we put up the Ram horns. So where did the horns on a ram go? They go up here,
Nice.
and
All right.
I don't know. The tongue sticking out was just kind of like a heat of the moment thing. Like I was happy with that race, and yeah.
Are we having to, start to game plan future celebrations at this point? Do you allow yourself to daydream about that? Are you working up something special for the rest of the meets this year?
Yeah, I have a couple more ideas. I like to keep it fun going down the finishing shoot when I win stuff. I've been doing a lot of stuff at conference, just with like showing off the Cornell on my chest and stuff like that. But you got to kind of up your celebration game a little bit when you win a big one.
Yeah, I saw on Instagram you guys posted that you're going to be hosting the conference meet this weekend. Is that the
Yes.
first time in the like probably since you've been in college, right, where you've hosted it?
Yeah, so there's 10 teams in the Midwest Conference, so it's on a 10-year cycle. So this is the first time since would be 2015.
Wow. So it's and now you're going to have a good chance at winning it. How hard are you going to take it out? I saw on the little Instagram you want to break the conference record. Is that a time you can hit while still not going all out for the postseason?
Yeah, I think I'm treating this as my last big effort before nationals. So, uh, planning it out in my head, I think I'm going to do something special. The conference record is 24:05, and I think that is very, very doable considering I just ran faster than that on a harder course than this conference meet is on. I have my sights set a lot higher than that, but well, we'll just have to see what happens on Saturday.
You've had, I mean, you mentioned it, your first 100-mile week in July. We're talking about a goal race near the end of November. Your last hard effort, or like really hard effort coming up here this weekend. How have you and your coach, stayed in communication to game plan out this season where you're doing such high quality work for so long? Obviously, you need your legs here in 3 weeks. And so take us kind of behind the scenes on those planning conversations.
Yeah, so I think in the kind of the minority of D3 where I don't work out very hard. Like if you look at what I'm doing day to day, especially last winter and last spring, it wouldn't look like I could go run 14 flat because I didn't run anything under threshold really all of the winter. And that was kind of a response to me being a little burned out at indoor nationals the year before. Like there was the stress fracture part of it, but also I was just fried, just too much speed work. And going back to high school, that was always my problem is we just ran too fast, too often, and I was burned out by the time state rolled around. So I think that kind of training style has really been what I've continued to do. We've had a couple hard efforts. We do a hill workout that's pretty tough. So that was the first hard effort. We did the Michigan. That was the second hard effort. And then I had a really, really good workout on Friday out at the conference meet course. That was the third hard effort. So that's kind of been the three big things that we've done. And other than that, it's been, I mean, double T, we were doing every other week for about, I think we did the last session in early September, because it was before I started racing that we kind of just stopped doing that. But it's just been a lot of K reps, a lot of tempos, a lot of mile repeats, just keeping just building the aerobic engine because I think my strengths lie in my aerobic capacity.
We like to talk about Strava on here. When you see other folks like having these beautiful workouts and it's ripping it, and you're just like, well, I'm doing my double threshold. Does that psych you out at all? Are you trusting your training? Obviously, given the result, you're going to trust it. But how do you not let other workouts kind of get in your head?
I just know that, like in the back of my head, I can do anything that anybody else can do. Uh, like you might be able to run faster than I ran on that day, but it's not because I can't run that fast, because I'm choosing not to run that fast because I know where my strengths lie.
Winning that invitational is a big deal. I'm sure you heard from a lot of friends, a lot of teammates, a lot of people around campus. Kind of describe what the general reaction to that win has been, kind of in your social circles.
I think the funniest part is I'm not a super social guy around campus. I kind of keep to myself. I stay in my routine, but I've heard from my friends and teammates that like people who don't even follow me on Instagram or like have never talked to me or are putting that video up on their stories and like talking about how awesome that was. And I think that it was like a big um almost like a I told you so moment in that I've known that I've been capable of this for a long time, but there's always the almost judgment of why are you putting in all this work if it's not going to pay off? And it hasn't really paid off in the way that you would kind of expect it to for someone who runs it as much as I do. But that was, I think, the big stepping stone to me getting on to even bigger things.
What statement or what message did you hope, your win sent to, obviously the Midwest folks saw it, but to out East and those teams?
I think it's just that I'm here to stay. Like I've been close for a long time, and now I'm finally up there with the best of them.
When you look at the field, I mean, the depth is pretty crazy. You've seen a lot of those guys so far. Is there anybody you haven't run against yet who I don't want to say scared of, because I know you'll tell me you're not scared of anybody, but that you have like a healthy respect for?
I mean, Emmanuel LeBlanc is always a really fun guy to race against. He has a lot of fun out there. And then the other guy would be Mobati, because he's the only guy who trains like I do, and he trains far, far more than I do. But I think when it comes down to straight aerobic base, I think he's the only other guy who can match me in that category.
Yeah, his Strava is like 10-mile runs at 9-minute pace, and then comes back and does what, 10 more miles or something like that. I feel like he's just the king of just slow jogs.
Yeah, he's gotten away from that this year. It's all been at like 6 something pace. It's insane. I don't know how he can do it.
Oh, I haven't looked in a while. I need to go check it out. When you see him doing 6-minute pace stuff, like, does that get in your head? Like, because you guys don't see each other till nationals, right? Like, you won't see him at the regional meet.
Yeah.
So how do you not let his training impact what you're doing?
I mean, it is a little worrying to see a guy doing 150 miles a week, but I just remember he was doing 140 miles a week last year, and he was doing 140 miles a week last fall, last winter. I beat him over the winter, and then I think where I draw confidence in this particular case is that Christian Patska missed the whole summer of training last year and still beat him. So I think if I can show up with a full summer and a full fall of training, I think I can beat him on that day.
I think you versus Bati is a very compelling matchup because, kind of like how I mentioned before, you didn't always know what we were going to get out of you on a start line. I think Bati's kind of the same way, where like you guys could each win by a lot or be 25th sometimes is the way that it feels. Obviously running more consistently now, but that's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a great race. That's not a question, but you can answer it if you want.
Fill us in on the routine. You mentioned you stick to your own little routine. What's it look like? People gotta know.
Yeah, so I usually wake up 8 a.m. It's the perks of the block plan. We have class from 9 to 11 and 1 to 3. So wake up at 8. It's the same class.
That's like 4 hours of class. I feel like that's like twice as much class as I was going to.
Well, yeah,
it's 4 hours of the same class though, so it gets kind of boring by the 4th hour. So yeah, I did lunch from 11 to 1, class from 1 to 3, practice at 3:45, dinner, homework, in bed at 9:15, 9:30.
What class are you taking right now?
Right now, I'm in psychology of sport.
Oh, okay. This is one of those fake classes that all the athletes get to take.
Last block, I was in intro physics, so it balances out.
All right. We'll give you a pass.
Intro physics as a senior. What are you doing? What's your major?
I'm a kinesiology major, and it's a prereq for PT school for reasons that are completely beyond me. I don't know when I will ever use physics in physical therapy.
So that's the plan, physical therapy?
Yes.
Nice. Right. Do you have any eligibility you can bring with you?
I do at D1, but I don't think I'm going to use it. I think I'm going to take a couple of gap years and see where life takes me, save up. I'd love to run at the next level. I think I have to have a lot more success before that happens, but that's the dream for the next couple of years.
Yeah. How do you balance those dreams while still being in college, or do you view it your college performances can fuel those dreams?
I think right now it's all about preparation for the next step. I think one of my strengths as a runner is that I can see the day to day, here's what I need to do today, but I can also see the big picture of here's what I need to be doing to prepare myself for next season and the season after that and the season after that. So these 100-mile weeks that I did all summer were partially to get really, really fit to win the title in November, but also so that I have a smaller adjustment period and that you won't, if you're taking me on as a professional team, you're not going to have to worry about me getting hurt off these 100-mile weeks because I've been doing them for a year.
You mentioned earlier that sometimes feeling like the results kind of weren't matching up with the level of work that or level of preparation that had gone in. Now you're kind of on this launching pad to have, ultimate success and winning the national meet. You're definitely one of those contenders. What do you imagine those emotions will feel like if you're able to get it done that day in November?
I think it's just going to be a big, kind of like the first All-American, a weight off my shoulders, and then I can just get back to work because I have big goals, not just for the fall, but for the winter, for the spring, and it's kind of like winning a big invitational. Like the national meet is a really big meet, but at the end of the day, it is just another meet, and you can't get complacent because you had this one success.
We were calling you the flat track king in 2024. Is that going to be? We need some similar flat track king results this winter.
Well, he's gonna be king of the grass first.
Yeah.
Well, he was talking about the track. I was asking about the track.
Well, we'll have to see. The Nationals is on a bank track again, and we're trying our best to get on the University of Iowa banked track. I don't know if it's going to line up perfectly with my preferred racing schedule, but we'll see. I'll definitely have a couple flat track races in there.
Has Cornell College had national champions in any other sports that you're aware of or in running?
Abram Masterson, 2015.
Whoa. Oh, Stu, my God.
I was coaching at Lake Forest when she was in the conference.
Now I look like an idiot.
Yeah, come on. Or maybe it was 2014. Might have been 2014.
How
2014 or
embarrassing.
2015.
She won cross one year and she won the 10K, I think the year after that. And then we've had a couple second place finishers in the 10K and the steeple back in the 80s. We had a really, really good wrestling team in a while ago, but I don't think a lot of All-Americans, but I don't think a whole lot of national champions.
So you definitely have some like hit program history to draw from. I mean, do you feel motivated as well to include your name up there with some of those athletes?
Definitely.
Go ahead and get in that Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I'm curious. You said your next hard effort is going to be conference. So is that throwing shade at the regional meet, or how are you viewing this regional meet before the national meet?
I'm going to go in with the same game plan as did last year, which is be top 2 or top 3 with as little energy necessary. And I think I executed that really well last year, where I ran 24:20 and it felt like a tempo run.
So you don't really care about being Midwest regional champion?
I would like to be Midwest regional champion, but at the end of the day, the national title is going to be a lot more important to me than the regional title. And I think if you look at historically, Christian didn't win his region last year. Ethan didn't win his region the year before. I don't know if Alex Phillip won his region. I would assume he did because he was on a different level at that point. But you don't need to win the region to win the national
curse
league.
of the regional win, or not to win. I mean, or maybe it is to win. Whatever, I messed it up.
I think it's like a classic mistake a lot of people make is kind of overemphasizing regionals, especially if you're, one of those guys who should essentially be an auto qualifier, even on like a B or C day. It just seems like a lot of effort to put into a race that's really close to nationals. So I guess to make this a question, if you get into the mix at regionals and say you come through 4K in a blazing pace with a good pack, is there a situation where you would just kind of lay off the pack and let them go and just kind of wrap up qualification?
No, I'm not going to let anyone go to that level. I don't foresee the regional meet being that fast. Honestly, I think that I have the Wartburg team a little spooked right now. I think I'm a little ahead of where I was last year, and I kind of think they were expecting to make maybe bigger jumps. I'm not sure, but just based off how my somewhat limited interactions with them at the Dan Houston meet, I think I'm kind of in their heads a little bit. So those would be the guys to push the pace, and I don't see them doing that.
So we asked a lot about you. Tell us more about the Cornell College team. Are you guys hoping to win here this weekend?
Yes, yeah, we're the defending champs and hoping to get another one. It's going to be a little tougher than years past because we lost the next 9 guys behind me last year to graduation. But
Oh
I
my
think we
God.
have all the pieces to contend for another title.
You lost 9 guys in a year from your team?
Yes.
Transfer
So,
portal, man. NIL deals taking them away from Cornell
No,
College.
they all
So-
graduated.
so guys, you lost 2 through 10 on the program?
Yes.
Whoa, that's like a shocking loss.
Yeah.
How do you how big was the recruiting class this year?
Got 4 guys this year plus a transfer.
Okay. So slowly getting things back to order.
Yes. Yeah, it's always hard recruiting in the same state as Wartburg and Central and Simpson. So we get what we can, but it's not the blue chip recruits that some of those other schools can pull.
I mean, how did you end up there?
My girlfriend came here.
Oh, that's the trick, huh?
Yep.
There you have it. That's recruit the boyfriends and the girlfriends, and then the stud athletes will follow.
Yep.
You seem to I'm just like really interested by you because you seem to like be fairly quiet and measured at times, but also seem to kind of lean into the psychological warfare that can sometimes be a part of this sport. Sometimes is that a fair characterization of you that you kind of like being in people's heads?
I think so. Yeah. I enjoy stirring the pot a little bit. I like to talk a little bit of trash and I can take it when it comes back to bite me. So it makes the sport a lot more interesting.
Yeah, I legitimately appreciate that. It makes it so much more fun.
Are you talking crap on Strava, or were you talking this crap?
A little bit on Strava, yeah. Sometimes I don't think my thing's completely through, so I made a little mistake over the summer, and then my coach texted me and was like, "Hey, we got to knock that off." So I've reined it in since then. But I got into a little argument with the lacrosse team after after Augustana.
We got to get you like a PR
No
person
way.
to like. We got a little PR person to check.
Is it still on? Is it still on there?
Yeah, if you go look at my run, we got into it a little bit. It was nothing. It's all good feelings, but they said some stuff the weeks leading up to the race that I took a little personally, and then I was gonna talk when I beat them.
Where did you hear that chatter from them? Did it
That
show
was
up on social media or Strava or what?
Yeah, it was on their Strava. They were talking about having 4 guys in front of anybody else's one, and I took that personally.
I love
Oh, I
that.
just requested to follow you, so then I can actually read it whenever I get the chance. But looking forward to seeing that.
Well, he doesn't. He's probably not going to speak his mind with media watching every
No,
upload.
true. I'll
Yeah.
unrequest then.
You can just text us when you have hot takes, Isaac. And then...
Okay.
You're right. We gotta make sure we're not spawning anyone. Well, Isaac, appreciate your time here tonight. Looking forward to seeing what you do the rest of the way. It was fun watching you at Augustana, and looking forward to calling your race here at Nationals here soon.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun one.
And if you win it, Isaac, we'll bring you on again.
Okay.
There's my next episode promise. We'll bring you on
All
for a
right.
race
I
recap.
guess I gotta win then.
You gotta win.